To have been everywhere when it comes to talking about Amazon and Amazon live selling strategies. If you've ever been to a podcast movement or Denver, Colorado, all these different places, they are always there. And there's a reason for that. It's because they know their stuff and they have the results on how to do that. And so I'm excited to bring on with me today Jim Fuse and Chris Stone from the Dealcasters. Man, that name in and of itself, you're going to have to tell me who came up with that name, because I was like, that is money. Like, who was the one that said we need to go and trademark this and buy the domain right now? And let's see, who did it? Who was the one that decided the name?
I thought you did, Chris.
Who gets the royalties? Who's writing the book? Come on.
Oh, well, the beautiful gentleman in the center of your screen, James Fuse, Lieutenant Colonel James Fuse. No, it really just came about. Jim called me one day and said, "Hey, we're Amazon influencers." I was like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, I watched this video from Ross Brand. And I applied and I got accepted. So we are going to do a show." I was like, because we had been talking, Stephanie, a lot about creating a show somewhere, doing what we do as remote producers and helping people get through all of that mind junk about how to use a microphone, what microphone you should get with a podcast, what headphones should I get, all of the stuff, right? And we were doing it piecemeal and it was just cumbersome and it really wasn't, something that, and we're like, we got to do a show, right? We're going to be on YouTube and, do all the things. But when he called me and said, we're going to do it in the biggest mall in the world, we got right to cracking. And in a couple of hours, we came up with the name, the logo. And first thing we did was we went live as quickly as we could. And then we started to develop this little crazy following on Amazon because we're the only ones that were doing a real podcast on the biggest mall in the world, in the center of Amazon, interviewing people like Ross Brand and Jennifer Watson and Dave Jackson and Chris Kermitzos and all these people. It was like, wow, this is a thing. Amazon is really a thing. And so that's really how it was born. And we have fun, and that's the only reason why we do it.
So Jim's the mastermind is basically what you were saying and all of that. Yeah. No, just kidding.
He's the beauty and the brains, unfortunately.
The beauty and the brains. He's talking about you. That's awesome.
He's just being kind.
So how long has the show been running now, Dealcasters?
Actually, 2 years? July will be 3 years, Chris.
July will be 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then how often do you go live?
We go live maybe about once a week. We haven't gone as live as much lately just because we've, it's not the only thing we do, as we'll be talking about. And we've discovered some things that really, product videos as an example, some of these other things are very powerful. And, so it's more than just the live. And then there was some issues going on, I hate to say it, with the Amazonians and, in regards to some of the live streams, but I think that's all fixed now.
Really? Okay, I used to be in this mastermind and we had like this little Slack thread where it goes Amazon live drama. And it was so fascinating to kind of read, well, this person went live and it kicked off that person and this used to be my time slot. And I was like, wow, who needs Love is Blind when you have...
Oh, that sounds like an A-lister drama sort of thing.
It was an A-lister thing, which I found I didn't know. Sometimes you don't know what it is that you don't know. And it was really fascinating just to see the world of Amazon live. And so you guys have been doing it for the past 2 years, once a week. Have you kept up with that cadence, or have you shifted now to the shoppable videos and all the other things that you're working on?
It's a mixture of both. We're, as Jim said, we have our individual businesses as remote producers and editors and what we do. So, when we want a show, we want to make it somewhat special. We don't want to just like go live and wing it. If we want to keep it somewhat thematic, and we may go, okay, you know what, let's go live on Friday and talk about, the stuff that you need for your live stream.
Yeah.
And it'll be interactive and we'll be able to, have conversations and solve people's problems live, and sort of like an ask me anything, if you will. But for the most part, we try to schedule like really great guests and, have a real interview like we're having here. and we don't make it like QVC Home Shopping Network kind of, what does Ross Brand call it? Pitch fest.
Yeah.
And, we make it more about like having a conversation, providing value to the people that are there, and talk about the things that, inevitably end up being products on that platform that people can use to solve their issues and solve their problems. So, the scheduling, to answer your question more specifically, has more to do with like, can we get like a rock star guest on there? So we want to accommodate them. We don't want to say, okay, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. we're going live. I think that's really great for some people if they want to be intentional and go live more often, for sure. But we like to kind of be loose so that we can accommodate, the multiple streams of revenue that we have for our business, but also to accommodate some guests that we can have on.
But we do have a date. In fact, it's coming up, Chris. We have to start planning. May the 4th is a big day on Dealcasters. We do have our Star Wars show that we have to plan in advance, so we may have to go buy some more stuff for that. But we have the lightsabers, and I had the Boba Fett helmet last year, so I might have to go get a new helmet before.
Did you really? I'll totally show up.
Yeah.
I'll show up for yours. I'm a Magma Stormtrooper actually cosplay. I'm in the 501st Legion. Like, no joke. My whole entire family
I've seen that.
Is in the 501st. Chris doesn't know. This is really the first time that Chris and I have actually really chatted before. But my whole family is in the 501st. We have Kylo Rens to Stormtroopers. I'm a Magma Stormtrooper. We've got everything. TIE Fighter. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a thing. I should do a whole family thing. That was good. I love that. Okay, so the both of you are going to be at Leap Into Live Selling, and I'm excited about this because I've perused the whole lineup of who's talking about what. And we've got Rocky Nash talking about how she does her remote production, how she got from, selling watches on Periscope to now creating these digital production studios. And then you guys are diving deep into the Amazon live selling strategies. Is there like a little like sneak peek you could give us, or like what? Yeah, I'm looking at Chris.
So. Chris,
Jim, I let the beauty and the brains answer that.
So one thing that we do that a lot of people maybe don't do that are Amazon influencers is we use a product called Helium 10. It's actually a seller's program. And so what we actually do is we analyze products with a widget, and it tells us, as an example, I was doing a talk earlier today, there's a standing, raised bed garden box that you can get for $150 on Amazon. It's sold $2.3 million in the last 30 days.
Oh, wait, Chris, does this all the time? Does Jim just like say facts like with no facial expressions? Is this...
I told you, he's the brains.
2.3 million. Like, are you
$2.3 million?
$2.3 million. Take us to your leaders. But yeah, and but we did that last year. So we go out and buy the product ourselves, and it pays for itself within a couple of weeks. We look for stuff that doesn't have like a lot of videos yet, because what'll happen is, as an example, we did the Oculus Quest a couple of years ago, and what was funny is at first Amazon wasn't showing videos of the Oculus Quest. Then all of a sudden, our stuff went crazy, but then everybody started doing Oculus Quest videos, and you get rotated is what happens. And so you really have to look for products that, because here's the other thing about these products is some people go to the best sellers list and they're like, oh, I'm going to look at the top 100, but there's all these subcategories. And so we look for because I used to tell Chris, I want to know what's number 110. Because number 110 will make as much money as 99, but there was nowhere to find it. So that's where, by using an Amazon sellers program, now we're diving into the data. We look at seasonality. I mean, if you want to sell Christmas trees, you need to start doing your videos probably in August. And we've seen how much Christmas trees sold. And,
wait, so is this what you're going to be talking about on your session on Monday?
I didn't know we were going to be talking about this today or on our session.
Well, it's part of our strategy.
Did we just change the whole session right now?
I guess,
like, what's going on? Is this
part
your
of Dealcasters need to have an
strategy.
emergency meeting before leaping to live selling, clearly.
So, wow, That's so fascinating to me because I always wondered if people were making the connection between the Amazon FBAs, right, to the Amazon influencers and really just connecting that chain. Because I've been in a couple of the groups and I see how there's, like, we're this platform and we work with influencers, and then you have like agencies that want to work with Amazon influencers. You have these one-off brands, and then you have influencers that like to call themselves influencers, but then there's folks like you that are creating these empires. Hey,
Empire
empire.
Strikes Back.
It all comes back to Star Wars, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so it's so fascinating to hear how your mind works, and it's so strategic, and I absolutely love that. And shout out to our good friend Scott Ayers. Scott, I haven't seen you forever. He's saying seasonal
Speaking
items
of
is so
seasonality,
crucial.
Scott's a great example. So Scott's
Yes.
he's been an Amazon influencer for a long time as well. We talked to him early in the game when he was first getting in, and this is a guy that realized, hey, there is not just money to be had, because I think a lot of times if you're getting into this thing just to make money, you're not going to be able to live through the ebbs and flows. You're just really not going to be able to do it. So you have to understand that this is a stream of revenue. This is something that Scott understood early on, and he started before Halloween. I want to say 2 months before Halloween. There was all of a sudden this flood of Halloween inflatables that were coming into all the Amazon products. And Scott was crushing it with all of these inflatables that everyone was buying on Amazon. And I don't know if like the inflatable truck backed up to his place in Texas or whatever, boop, 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 and he just like, put everything in the front yard. And he did it for Christmas around the holidays in December as well. And so seasonality, to Jim's point, is really key. And I think that's not more so not just for like, I spent 27 years in the music business, and every year you go through a calendar and you like there's seasonalities. I mean, listen, Christmas happens every year, right? And Halloween happens every year. They all happen at the same time, spring and all of these things. Well, people buy things around these things, but you can't just on November decide you're going to talk about doing stuff for Christmas. That's stuff you do in July. And the stuff that you do in the spring is what you're working on over Christmas. And so like that's all a part of really live selling, is getting a tactical plan ready for what you're going to do on the front end. So Scott's a great example of that, and I'm glad he jumped in.
Yeah, he says that he used to own a bounce house business, so inflatables are his game.
There you go.
Wow. I love it. Now I'm actually like, I want to see these Halloween inflatables. I'm like, literally after the show, I'm going to go on Amazon. If I see like my good friend Scott, I'm like, that's you.
You'll see
I
him.
know
Just
you.
go to his
You'll
shop.
see him
page, I'm
everywhere.
sure you'll see him.
That's hilarious. Okay, so live selling strategies for Amazon specifically. Will you dive into shoppable videos at all?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we'll talk about because this is, Ecamm is involved in this, and we use Ecamm, especially now with what they've launched with all of the new Amazon stuff and being able to pull the chat into it. They just added the ability to do vertical live streaming on Amazon as well within Ecamm. I saw that on the latest update. But when we do go live, we treat it not only as sort of a session for us to engage and solve people's problems live, but everything's recorded, right? And so we take all of those recordings from Ecamm, the isolated videos, and we take them and put them into the machine, and we chop them up and we sprinkle them all over the interwebs, and so they become reels, they become TikToks, they become shoppable videos that obviously make us money while we sleep as well.
Yeah, because I think what people miss out on, and the other thing, right, as Stephanie, the Amazon influencer program is still one small, right? I mean, we say 3,000 to 5,000 people maybe that are in the program, but how many are actually active in the program is probably under 3,000. I would probably say under 1,000. But what happens is that you have Amazon wants us, right, especially as influencers, to bring people from what we call offsite, from Instagram, TikTok, to onsite. So where I think sometimes the strategy that people are missing out on is like, you should be using social media, right? You should be creating these clips, bring people back, back to the Amazon mothership, because people trust Amazon when it comes to shopping, right? We all have our cards already built in. I always have to remember to disable one-click checkout, right? Because all of a sudden I've just bought stuff I didn't expect to buy.
Oh,
And
I'm
so
sorry. You forgot. Is that what we say now? I forgot.
I forgot. I forgot. And then all the
Luckily, they
stuff
have a
showed
good
up at my
return
door.
policy.
Yes. Yeah.
I
But I think that's one of those things that, is I think really critical. And that's where I'm fortunate to have a partner like Chris, who is an amazing video ninja.
Yeah, I
What's
was
your new
gonna
term?
ask. So who's chopping up all the videos? Is that you, Chris? Are you like with your little chopping ninja video?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like some infomercial right now. Here's the video. Chop, 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 chop.
Well, I just let AI do it now. I just throw it right in, and AI just takes.
Well, which AI are you
spits it.
using? Come on now, don't tease.
Well, I was half teasing. We do use Lately. Lately.ai is what we use on a lot of times. But yeah, we got a little hodgepodge, a little goulash of AI programs that we use to chop some stuff up. I've been using this new one called Munch.
Munch?
I know, isn't that fun?
What is it about goulash and munch? And it's like
Goulash is that thing where you just kind of throw a bunch of
I
stuff
know
in
it's like it's like
yeah.
it's like the midnight munchies on Lately. Have some goulash. Okay, wait. So what is munch? I'm like peeking at it now. What is munch?
I don't love it yet. I haven't really I don't want to look like I'm endorsing them just yet, or I don't want to have everybody run and say what's your affiliate link. Yeah. But
Want to munch on your
what it
affiliate
does
link?
is it'll take your what?
I said I want to munch on your affiliate link.
Oh my God. This is Stephanie, how did you let Jim in here? I thought you had a button that you could eliminate him from the stream.
Solidarity. I've known Jim first. I can't really kick him off.
That's fair.
Okay, so Munch. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jim took me out of this planet for a hot second. So Munch.
I think
on the
people just
table?
like to say Munch. Everyone, like, it should be a drinking game where you drink coffee every time somebody says Munch. But you take your video. The great thing about Lately and similar to Munch is that you take your long video. So this video may be 40 minutes or something like that. You plop it into Munch. God, that's just or you put it into Lately. And the AI will determine the best clips for you based on all the information you fed it up to date. So if you feed it a bunch of information, the smarter it gets. And with Lately, you can also post it and schedule it, much like you can with Agora Pulse or something like that. And then it takes that data with whatever posts were, the most engaged, the most likes, the most shares, all of that kind of stuff, and says, okay, well, this is the content people love. So we're going to choose more content like that from what you give us. And so it just kind of helps you do that. And so a lot of people will be just like, what do you guys, I just got this post from you guys. How did you do that? And, like they'll walk up to us at PodFest and they go, how did you just do that? And I was like, I did that like 3 months ago. So and so much to what Jim was saying is that all of that stuff goes back to the shows, which are on Amazon. And so if you're sending them to Amazon and they go, oh my gosh, this solved my problem. This is the microphone I need. They're buying it. And then we get a little commission from that because we sent them there, and we get a little more commission because it is offsite because we sent them there from a different link.
I love that. I love this whole approach that whenever you're creating content, even if it's live streaming, you go in with the mindset of everything everywhere all at once, right? And I feel like oftentimes when we're live streaming, we have to be mindful of the structure of the show and how we're going to repurpose it. Which, P.S., by the way, Scott Ayers says, this got awkward. But you know what, Scott? You know what I love about Ecamm is because you get the isolated video. So you will literally have a short form video of Chris like really going in on that particular, I'm not even going to say the name of it anymore, but he's like
Munch.
really, and then I'm just going to, take out Jim and I where we're just like melting, and I'll just be like, well, that just happened.
Yeah. I was just wondering, did it evolve out of Blab?
What was the other one?
All these weird names.
Mm-hmm. And then there's like
Right?
Aha, right?
Oh yeah, was a thing.
It's
What's up,
split, I
James
think.
Hicks? 3 superheroes.
I know.
Oh.
We're having fun. Okay, so leap into live selling. You're going to be talking about Amazon live selling strategies. I already came away with two things. I don't know, man. The one that Chris mentioned, I'm kind of scared to type that into my browser. I don't know what's going to happen.
I get it.
Like, I could put in helium to, I don't mind.
Yeah, helium 10 feels a little safer. I would agree.
Scott's, he's like, you'll need to make a video excerpt that is just every time Chris Stone says munch. And then, you know what I'll do, Jim? It'll be you and me with a green screen behind us and you and I just like cracking up in the background. It'll work out. Good. All right.
Well, I had no idea that we were going to go down this.
Yeah. Who knew that I was
path?
going to bring up this hot new AI software called Munch?
Right.
They're getting more attention now than maybe they deserve.
More than ever.
But
That is very true. Okay, so you're the mastermind behind repurposing all of the content. You have your whole system, your tech. I mean, is it just you two? Do you have VAs? Like, what's going on?
I do.
Yeah, he has one, and I might have an intern soon, and I'm working on it. So
3 VAs. Are they on-site, offshore?
One offshore, two here.
Good job. Nice work. And then Jim's going to be working on having an intern.
Yep, from a local university.
What's
be
next
me.
for Dealcasters?
What is next, Chris?
It's Q2, fellas. Come on, it's Q2. You didn't do your Q2 planning?
Well,
We're working on our
I think
Christmas inflatables.
I think part of it is we're very deliberate on the companies that we want to work with. So we've got some plans on some companies, and if they're listening, as an example, we would love to have a conversation with Rode. Rode just came out with some really great stuff at NAM, which unfortunately, I know Chris and I would have liked to attend. We just weren't able to fit into the schedule. And I think that's another thing that we've discovered when you talk about conferences, that there are a lot of conferences, I think, that as an Amazon influencer would be good for us to go to. I want to say, what's the one at the beginning of the year in Vegas that
CES?
the consumer, what's it called?
CES?
Yes, I think that would be a good conference to go to, even as an attendee, just to get to go around and network and meet with these companies. So we're starting to look at things like that as opposed to, I'm going to go to a marketing conference, because that's not necessarily where we're going to meet the companies that we want to build a relationship with.
I'm starting to see that shift too. Of all the social media marketing conferences, I'm seeing people niching down into, well, this is where I find my audience. Like my target audience when it comes to building your personal brand with live video are multifamily real estate investors, right? Or C-level investors. They're looking to build their personal brands on LinkedIn, and that's where they come to me too. And me going to your usual social media marketing conference isn't the place where I would find them. So I think it's a smart move for the both of you to look into CES, NAB. I think that's where Doc Rock is. Did you see the little Streamer X thing that he was showing off?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
I was like, my God, did you have that on a was that click buy thing? Do you have that ready, Jim? Are you click?
I'm afraid to, because I had just got the Rodecaster Pro 2 within the last year.
They're upgrading the firmware for the Rodecaster Pro 2, but I think those are things that we're going to get. This is the other thing that Jim alluded to, is that we've kind of tactically found a way to, and we take all of the stuff that we do on Amazon and we just kind of put it on YouTube. We kind of park it there. We haven't really been super intentional about building the YouTube channel, but we started doing it about 6 months ago, and the YouTube channel has really grown. And we're getting all these questions. Hey, can you review this? Hey, can you review that? Hey, thank you for this. And so now we're finding this community of people over on YouTube as well. And, when we started Dealcasters, it was born on Amazon. And then then we just said, okay, let's build some social, let's, put our card table in the internet on this place and this place, and just kind of build the real estate, right? And then, 6 months ago is really when we first started doing the YouTube stuff. And so I think there's an expectation that, when Rode puts out new stuff, that we're going to be talking about it. And so we're finding a way, listen, if we're going to buy it and do it, or if the company's going to send it to us, then there's a different conversation there. But I think, a lot of times, influencers will think that once you go out as an influencer and sort of, you're this person, these companies will come running to you, or that when you go to these companies, they're going to be sending you everything. And the bottom line is like I would say one of the major companies that we work with right now said to us in our first conversation with them, we just really like what you guys are doing because you're already using our stuff. And that resonated with us. That was like, well, of course. Like, why would, a company just work with you and go, wow, they're not using any of our stuff, so we really need to send it to them. It's like, if they understand how this stuff works, well, let's get them on the line. So now they're sending us prototypes, and we're playing around with prototypes, giving them feedback, creating videos before they're being released. And then when they are being released, we're the first in on Amazon. We're the first in on YouTube. And so those are the kind of relationships we want to work with. When we work and partner with these companies, we want to have calls with them. We want to figure out what makes them tick. We want to understand what they're doing. We want to be a team member with these brands, as opposed to just taking anything that anybody will send to us and have a whole porch full of brown boxes. And then we don't have people that really trust and know what we're talking about.
I love that you mentioned all of that, simply because of the fact, when I come from the PR world, oftentimes I have to brief analysts as far as like what's going on with Agorapulse and what's new. And we also have our ambassadors. And with our ambassadors, it's a matter of telling them what are our most recent product updates. And I would love for ambassadors to actually to reach out to PR professionals, to directors of comms, and say, I want to work with you. Like, pitch me. Tell me why you should be a partner and how you use our product. Because whenever I have to do an embargoed press release or put together a press kit, oftentimes I'm asked to put together screenshots. And if I have screenshots of Chris and Jim actually using it, then that's helpful for me when I'm pitching out different stories. So just to add on that from the different end of the table, that's what I'm looking for. And so yeah, when you're an influencer, don't always just wait for brands to reach out to you. You can literally go to their website, find their PR contact, and reach out to them and say, hey, what's on your product roadmap? Like, literally, you could do that with Shure. You could do that with Rode, and be like, what's on your product roadmap? Let me show you what my editorial calendar is for the year. If you plan on dropping something, we could slot it in for this particular time frame, and then you start becoming a strategic influencer, or what I like to call your strategic partner in that relationship.
Yes. You're that comfortable pair of shoes that when it's time for them to be doing something around the holidays, you're a part of the conversation months prior. You're not an afterthought. And then once you do something with that brand, deliver something to them after you're done with them. Give them all the links, give them all of the screenshots, give them all of that stuff. And they'll be like, wow, these guys made me look good. Guess what? Yeah. They come back to you. They come back to you, and because you made them look good, you're on their team. That's what I did for 28 years in the music business. That's what I did for record labels that were a part of Sony. It's like, even if you don't quote unquote work for this particular brand, this particular artist, whatever, you got to make them feel like you do, because then it's going to resonate with them. Then they look good. Then they can leave early on a Friday and go to the lake house because their boss said good job. It's that's the understanding of delivering something for a brand.
See, you get it. You absolutely get it. Because really, from a PR perspective, we don't always want to have to try to build new relationships with new media, new journalists, because you always have to break ice all the time. But like, as you said, the comfortable pair of shoes, I actually really like that. But then I smelled it too at the same time, and it kind of made me giggle. But you get what I'm saying. It's like, you totally get it. And I mean, do you guys offer like a mastermind? Like, are you teaching this to people? Is this only at Podcast Movement? Like, where can people get these strategies? It's
secret. It's only at Leap into Live Selling.
That's it. So true.
And it's free.
See
how I did that?
I love that. See, you're so good at this. My goodness. See, so you're learning from the pros. So James, Scott, and the rest of the crew, Phyllis, I love that you're here. Leap into Live is happening on Monday, April 24th, and on Tuesday, April 26th. It's a 2-day free virtual event, and you have these masterminds. You got the beauty and the brains. Chris, we got to come up with a nickname for you.
Munch. I'm Munch. She's off camera, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude! Oh my god! I am so going to repurpose and make digital confetti out of this. It just might be like you saying that word over and over. It's going to be a sound effect. It's going to be on my Stream Deck.
It has to be.
It has to be.
That's right.
Well, fellas, any last words that you want to share with the rest of the crew? Because I know you've got a lot of things to do. You've got this amazing presentation lined up for next week. Anything else that people should know about your session next week?
Don't miss it.
Don't mess it up.
Wow, that was fierce.
Don't miss it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I am intimidated after that. Don't miss it. I mean, people are just registering. I can hear the registrations right now. This is incredible. This is how we get people to really buy stuff.
We'll have a couple more secrets. You know, the one thing that I have to give credit to Mr. M over here is that he came up with the term live solving. And so we don't live sell, we live solve.
Did you trademark that yet? Did you reach out to your lawyer?
He should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's story selling.
Son of a munch, I knew I had to do something. Oh, man. I forgot to do that.
I'm just going to fall off on camera every time I hear that. There's no coming back from that. I can't. I would see you the first time that I'm actually going to see you in person, Chris. Like literally, if you guys said that, I'd be like, I'm dead, done.
Might have to get Chris a new shirt.
So live, like the way we look at it, really, Stephanie, to be serious. Like, well, actually, I can't even pretend to be serious, really, ever. But the way we look at it is this: is that we talked about it earlier, and live selling, and people, Amazon, and all of the other places where there is, sort of live selling, quote unquote. For us, we never really got into this to make money. It really is not why we did it. We did this because we wanted to find a place that we could do a show to demonstrate because inevitably what happens is when you're talking to somebody about tech issues or, virtual presentation or, things of that nature, audio, visual, or whatever, these products become solutions to people's problems. And inevitably you get to the end of the conversation and somebody will go, can you just send me a link? Or like we have clients that will say, here's my credit card, just buy it for me. And here's my address. Stuff like that, where it's just like, this is not the way this works. And so our intention in going live on Amazon was not to make money. Our intention was always to just sort of go through and solve people's issues. And when someone chimes in and says, hey, what's the best microphone I should get for my podcast? Our first answer is not get the Shure SM7B. Our first question is, what kind of room are you in? And then we listen. And then we hear what kind of room they're in, and we ask if they have carpet. They ask if there's any sort of room. We ask if there's any sort of room treatment. We ask what the microphone is for. And then we listen, and then we work to solve those people's issues. And sometimes we don't sell them a thing. And then these people hear this. It's not just the individuals, it's the thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people that are on Amazon that are hearing that, and we're solving their problems too. But they're also going, wait, I have this problem, and these guys understand how to do this. So I'm going to ask them this, and I'm going to ask them this. And then we listen, and then we do that. And inevitably, money shows up, and we'll look at our commission report, and sometimes people are buying tires, people are buying diapers, people are buying all these other things, because while they're shopping for a microphone, they're also picking up tires and diapers, apparently.
Brilliant. You're just a part of their whole shopping workflow.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. You guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for your time. I am
Thank you.
way looking forward to your session. The thing is that I'm going to kick it off in the morning on Monday. And then I told Katie, I was like, then you got to set up like a little station for me so I could take notes and do all the things, because now there's 2 new softwares that I want to go ahead and check out, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for your time. For the rest of the crew that's tuning in, do you guys have like a theme song? It's Jim and Chris.
We do have a theme song with our video. I don't remember what it's called, but we do have a theme song. We don't sing.
We do? You mean our
for our video.
Oh, I've got that here somewhere. Is this
This is your cue, Mr. Munch.
Munch. It's Munch. Sung to the song of, I don't have it. I'm sorry. Boy, I was put on the spot.
Now I'm literally.
Oh, here it is. Munch. All right.
Literally, I think just for the hell of it, I'm gonna make that digital confetti, and I'm just gonna prop it everywhere and be like, if you see this, can you please tag my friends? And I'll just like randomly publish it. I'll put it in my Agora Pulse queue so that every couple of
There you go.
weeks, you might not expect it, but someone's gonna hop on your show and just yell out.
Chris will soon have a contract with the Munch Company due to his.
That's true.
I got to talk to my lawyer.
Brand partnerships. Done, done, done. All right, crew. Thank you so much. We're gonna end the show.
You.
Take care, everyone.